One thing that I think we ignore a lot when we talk about a piece of media that we enjoyed when we review something is the context with which that piece of media sort of arrived in our life. And I think that's intentional because when you're reviewing something, nobody's context is the same, so you kind of want to remove that so that you can give somebody, the most accurate depiction of what the game will be like for them, regardless of circumstance with which they play it. But I do think it's a fun exercise to sort of step outside of just, is movie good, is game bad? Think about something that you enjoyed for a specific reason, maybe for when you played it, when you saw it, why you saw it, who you saw it with. And that's sort of just the core concept I wanted to talk about as I'm saying goodbye to my Witcher 3 save file. I wanted to make this time capsule of this game, of this save file. I thought it would be just kind of a fun way for me to archive my thoughts for the context with which I played it, as well as, I guess if you're watching this, you can get to know me a little bit through me talking about The Witcher. Side note, there are obviously going to be spoilers in this discussion. It's a 5-year-old game. If you haven't played it at this point and you're on the fence, I don't know what I can do for you. So for just super basic context, at the beginning of this year, January, February, March, I was working with mild success as a freelance video editor after having previously been laid off from a corporate job that I'd been doing for a couple of years. And then, of course, mid-March, the lockdown starts, and my work evaporates, just disappears overnight. Any talk I was having about a future project, any project I was on, was basically just said, hey, finish this and then you're done. Everything went on pause. That sort of huge upheaval that, I was kind of climbing this hill a little bit and then nothing, just complete flatline. And I struggled a lot at the start, obviously, as a lot of people have, with just finding things to do, occupying myself, not descending into panic and anxiety. A couple years back, I'd bought this big computer that I was going to use for video editing, but I'd never really dug into computer games at all. I had my Switch, I had a PlayStation 3 that I put, 700 hours into NHL 2008 or whatever. So I had never really played games on my PC. It was basically just for work. But lo and behold, Witcher 3 comes on sale for $20, and I buy it. This is the core of what I'm saying when I'm talking about at what point did media come into your life, right? I found The Witcher 3 at this point, and it gave me something for, 100 or so hours that just was a completely different world. I mentioned already, I spent 110 hours in this game, and I sat down earlier to capture footage, and I was just running around thinking, I'll get footage of some of my favorite spots. Maybe I'll explore a couple of those question marks because I haven't done anywhere near all of them. And just on my way to one of the question marks, I ran into this burning house.
Not so fast, Roach.
Piss off, or we'll fry you along with that fucking elf.
Situation.
That, I killed a couple guys out front, saved somebody from the inside, and got some money.
Take what you wish. It's dangerous to possess too much in these times.
Thank you. Farewell.
And I couldn't even begin to question how many dozens or potentially hundreds of those things I've missed in this game, only having done 100 hours. There are so many question marks still left on the map in a lot of these places, and maybe that's something that I'll go back and explore more, because having taken a bit of a break from the game since I finished it, it's just really brought back that desire to keep exploring. And I remember when I finished that last DLC, the Blood and Wine DLC, and I went to bed, and it took me a while to fall asleep, going back in my head over these plot lines that I'd done, like the Bloody Baron stuff, the stuff with the guy that just shows up on the crossroads and fights you all the time, all the stuff with the fairy tales, all the different haunting stuff, the ghosts. It's just it's endless. It's absolutely endless. There were so many interesting little plot lines that just resonated with me, and that was just one thing that it almost felt like I had played multiple games. It felt like a whole lifetime when you think back to the very first things I was doing in the game to the very end of the game. It's a huge, just a humongous arc. That was just something that really, really blew me away. It gave me those pangs of hurt in your chest when I was hearing the music again, because it had been a couple of months since I had played it. I'm not trying to take away from the game itself here. The game is very good, but I've played a lot of very good games, and they don't affect me in the same way, if that makes sense. One of the things that really resonated with me, and I thought about this, was freelance work. I mean, that's what this whole game is.
Pardon me. Perhaps you could help me. You seem a strapping lad.
What's the problem?
Butch it all. I invested my life savings. Now I fear to go inside. Do help me, Witcher.
There's a weird power in this game in that people actually, say what you will about how disparaged and disliked Geralt is in this world, but he can essentially just walk up to people and solve their problems and get paid money for it. And as a video editor, oh my god. There's something that just was so deeply satisfying about people just being like, hey, I will give you money to do this thing, and then you do the thing and then they pay you, because that is never the experience when you're talking about creative freelance work. The job changes 8 million times. Sometimes you don't get paid at all, sometimes you get paid way less than you thought. I think that, especially at this time of when the work disappeared, I think that weird just sub-mechanic was one of the things that really ingrained into my head and made me enjoy it a lot.
Meanwhile, perhaps you need something? I've a meager stock just now, but come back in 2 days to see a full array. At a discount that will make you cross-eyed.
It's definitely just one of those very, very satisfying things, again, that I don't think is especially revolutionary when it comes to video games, doing busy work, but just, again, that very specific moment in my life that I started playing it, it really, really hit home for me. The other thing I'll say, I'm a big sucker for a mountain in real life and in video games, and boy, does The Witcher 3 maybe have some of the best mountains in video games. I don't know, I mean, maybe there's other ones, but in my experience, these are top quality grade A mountains. That was really an appreciated thing for me personally as a Mountains #1 fan. So before anybody asks, I'm not necessarily in love with this hipster Geralt look, but I really, really liked the cat armor and the cat weapons. The problem is it has a really stupid hood on it that I didn't like, and one of the only ways I could find to get rid of that was to wear the glasses. They're okay. I grew to like them. I know a lot of people do not like the glasses at all, but you know what? My Geralt goes to coffee shops. Suck it up. I will say, if there's anything also that stuck with me, it is how bad the horse is. I mean, Roach is great. Very fun fellow. Cool horse. Like him a lot, but his pathing is just terrible, and he just gets in the way all the time. So I'll let that be the negative thing that I say about the game.
Slower.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure there's that much more that I want to say about it. I guess, I enjoyed the game so much, and basically this video was essentially my idea to just give a send-off to that sort of point in time, those couple of months where I was playing this through. And I guess what I'd love to hear from you guys, or would love to see your thoughts on, are just, do you have similar pieces of media? Great or not, I think there's a lot of things that resonate with people for different reasons, and I'd love to hear from you guys what are things that you specifically enjoy because of the larger context with which they appeared and not necessarily the specific content of the game itself. So if you stuck with me all of this time, thank you. I know this is a departure from the kind of stuff I normally do, but the game ended up meaning so much to me that I really wanted to ensure that I had something tangible at the end of it here that I could come back to, remember what I was thinking, remember what I was feeling, and actually look at the specific world that I played through, that I lived in. It's a little corny, but thank you again for tuning in. So if you liked this, let me know. I can do more stuff like this, but if you hated it, then I post every other day. So not tomorrow, but the day after, we'll be back to yuck 'em ups and goof 'ems and laughs. So thank you one final time, and I will see you on another day.
Mind if I leave you here alone for a moment?
Just a moment.